Hi, I'm Dean Olson, NMR Director at the University of Illinois. This is a little video about some details involving sample management and handling. One thing I wanted to discuss further was how we know that it is the tip of the tube that is often broken off. I have here a collection of NMR tubes, and these are a little hard to see on the video, but we collected these over the course of many weeks, and all of these sample tubes have the tip of the tube broken off. So it's directly evident to us that this is a common accident in the NMR lab, and this is why we've replaced storage of the chloroform standard with a plastic dummy tube, really just a plastic stick that obviously can't be broken. Another thing to know is when you have a short sample, and that's how I would describe this sample here, it's only about 2 centimeters tall. When this sample is put in the spinner gauge, instead of pushing the sample all the way down to the bottom, and this is a little hard to see, you need to raise the sample up a little bit so that it's centered across the 2 lines that are always provided on the spinner gauge. Those 2 lines indicate the sample observed volume within the probe, and that's where the device is going to acquire the data from your sample. So instead of pushing it all the way down like this, like I had it earlier, you're going to bring it up and center it across those lines. However, you have to understand that the closer you get the interface, the top or bottom of your sample to those lines, the harder it's going to be to lock and shim, and eventually it will be so difficult you can't do it at all. So you can't get too close. The lower volume limit on the Varians is about 550 to 600 microliters. Depends a little bit on the instrument and the spinner gauge at the instrument. You could just take a look at it. The Brooker is a little bit better with this. You can get volumes down to about 500 microliters, and that spinner gauge is a little bit different as well, and you can take a look at it yourself when you're in the lab. Another option is to use what is called a 5/3 tube, and this is made by New Era. It has a 3 millimeter outer diameter on the bottom and a 5 millimeter outer diameter on the top. The volume here is about 270 microliters, so just a little more than half of what you would need on a Brooker or a Variant. Now, of course, the signal to noise is going to go down because you're interrogating about 1/4 of the sample volume, but nonetheless, it will still shim up and lock normally, and you can get data in a normal manner. All right, thanks for listening.